All right, so let's get started and good morning. So, as usual, let's start with 1 minute of silence. Just be aware, just be. All right, you can come back to the session. All right. So, as I said yesterday, today we will be discussing primarily about how to be fully aware, as well as we will look at uh, the place of present. I mean, how to be present, like being in the now, right? So these are the things, two topics that we will quickly discuss, and then we will move on to a part of how can we practice. Of course, there are a lot of practices, and then how we can uh, cultivate some kind of a practice which can help us from time to time. So that is what we're going to discuss today. So the first thought, the one on a lighter note that I wanted to share is when you're talking about awareness. So couple of days ago, I was just waiting to start this meeting, and it was 7:03, 7:04, and no one else joined. Like it was only me was there. So people joined later on. However, I was just waiting. And then I thought, okay, so today's maybe nobody's going to join us, and I have to start the whole thing. And I would say good morning, and then generally I start with a good morning. So I wanted to say good morning, and then my mind was asking, who are you saying good morning to? Because nobody is there, right? There is no one else joined the whole session. Who are you saying good morning to? And then the other mind says, yes, I am saying the mind who is thinking all this thing. I'm not alone. There is one part of me who's wanted to take the session. The other part of me, it is judging the session, whether people join, people not join, and whether am I delivering it rightly, am I not delivering it rightly, am I following, whatever I thought of sharing it, I have shared. It is constantly running. So I am not actually alone, as I think. The one who's engaging, the one who's constantly being aware and giving me all those feedbacks and noises. So I said probably I can acknowledge that person who is inside me, who is constantly aware. Probably I can say good morning to that person. Right? If not to anybody, I can say it to that person who there is also an entity, right? So it was on a lighter note. I was just thinking when I was just waiting for this session to start. So that is something is an awareness. Though we think that sometimes we are one person, but then not. Our thoughts are one realm of things, and then we being in a different place. So to give you another example of awareness before we go deeper into what it is and how we can practice, there is a story again, it is about again a Zen master named uh, Bukaju, right? Bukaju is his name, and often it happens is he this Zen master who used to be alone and then practices meditation and etc. All of a sudden, every time he calls himself Bukajo, right? And then he himself again repeats that, yes, I am there, right? He just calls his name Bukajo. Yes, I am there. Bukajo. Yes, I am there. So it seems so weird, especially to the students, as the followers. It seems why this guy, why the master is calling his own name and then he's saying, yes, I am there all the time, irrespective of whether it is morning, afternoon, or night, whenever it is, he just wakes up and says this, Bukajo, yes, I am there. So they asked the master, Master, why are you, calling your own name? And then you are saying, yes, I am there. For that, the master says that, yes, I am there, but then sometime I'm here. Sometimes my mind wander off, it goes out someplace, right? Some unexisted place, but then it is not present. So I have to remind myself constantly. So I call myself, and then yes, I am there. I bring my attention back to my own self. So this is an example of though we think we are, but then we sometimes, though we think we are at the moment and present, however, sometimes we wander off. We get lost in our thoughts, in our emotions, our stories, and everywhere, right? So that's primarily the story of this Bukajo. And towards the end of his life, it comes to that no, he stopped saying completely. He never used to call himself his name, and he says, "I am there. Yes, I am here." Anymore. Again, the student asked, and then he said, "I'm nowhere. I'm completely present, and now I don't need to call myself again." So that is the one of the story that people usually share it for awareness. So let's quickly go a little bit of what we discussed yesterday and then how it is connected to today. So yesterday we talked about 4 stages of learning, any learning, any skill. We talked about in a unconscious incompetent stage to conscious competent or unconscious competent, right? So where we are talking about is being conscious and competent, right? It is not that unconscious competent, it is probably the higher level which I am not yet sure of what that can be. However, what I'm talking about is conscious competent is being ourselves aware of what is happening around us in a very mindful way, and that is exactly is what I'm talking about as awareness, being present, and etc. So to understand what is this state is going to be like, there is first of all yes, we need to identify one single thing is we are not our thoughts, emotions, and feelings. So there is always the question of is it awareness is a mind, right? Generally we ask. So it's all the construct of our mind, right? So why are we thinking that awareness or some person is different and the mind is different? So to give you one quick example to understand or to illustrate this point is, of course, the physical entity, yes, as a mind as a whole, it is there, right? And the mind, it is also filled with a lot of things. It is filled with the memories to start with. It can be the memories from our past, every day, yesterday, this morning, everything is kind of stored memories. And our mind want to construct the future, that is imagination, that also gets stored. Talk about your ideas, everything that is also gets stored. And a lot of things it can be like your the pattern of things, right? It can be a sensation or whatever you're doing, you're craving for food, sex, or anything. Everything has a different parts. Even your communication and etc. It stores in another part of it. Your work related thing it stores. So it's a kind of the complex web where everything is stored, and that is a part of a physical mind or the mind as a whole that we are talking about, and where it does that awareness comes in. So the mind doesn't go anywhere, but then the awareness is a kind of a moving thing, the moving light, where wherever you chose to, that awareness, you being you can choose to decide where you want to shine the light, right? If it is, just imagine that you are in a presently a dark room. In a dark room, every place is littered or you just kept a lot of things in the room, right? It is everywhere. And what will happen if you hang a light, let's say a, a bulb in a rope and in the ceiling, and you swing it all around? What happens is the bulb goes around and then lights at one object at a time, and then there is no specific a place to light, the not one specific object. Rather, it is swinging and it is going around. It is lighting one part to the other. Sometimes it shows some desk, sometimes it shows sofa, or sometimes it shows some other things that is there in the room. So that is a concept of awareness, that one plane where we are talking about is a mind where everything is filled, and the awareness is where it is focusing, what it is focusing at that moment. So here is a challenge. So the challenge is sometimes the awareness is like it is hanging by the river, sorry, by the rope, and it is going all over the place. So when it is going all over the place, we also get lost in the memory, thoughts, ideas, and whatever we are doing. Like, we don't completely pay attention or mindful of what is happening. So that is the challenge of it. And that is where, if you look at, like, if you can take the light as a torchlight, something that you can hold, that is, you believe you are the person who has a control over the awareness, and whatever the moment requires. So for an example, you're working. So if you're working on something on your office work or your household work, if you can be mindful about doing that work, that becomes your place of awareness. I hope it makes some sense to you. So it is primarily completely being aware of the present moment, and that also brings a stillness within that. Your mind is not wandering off anywhere, it is being present. So you completely focus on what you're doing, and then obviously your mind wanders and comes back. So that is something we can talk about as in, like, awareness part of it. So that being said, there are some people, like, who's really, I mean, I read it, that Alexander the Great, right? So it is a story I'm just trying to relate is. So it has been told that, like, one of the stories I read. So once Alexander was, like, completely into the war, and then he's conquering the countries after countries and etc. Like, he decides that, okay, so I mean, he used to sleep. I mean, while he's on the horse, he used to sleep. He doesn't need a place to rest and other things. So he can actually sleep while on his horse and, like, going towards that other place. And the other people used to ask him, like, how can you get a sleep like this? Like, we feel that you're getting a deep sleep. However, and we are wondering, because you're in the horse, on the horse, and then you're, like, riding the horse. However, you still fall asleep and you get fresh. You don't need a break or anything like that. So for that, his response used to be, I used to compartmentalize my thoughts, right? So when I sleep, I deeply sleep, and there is nothing else comes to my mind, right? So what he says is, when he's at the war, he's focusing on that. And when he's sleeping, he completely goes into that state of small compartment, and then he goes to sleep. So likewise, people attain. I mean, I'm not sure about the story, the authenticity of the story or anything like that, but this is to illustrate a point that you can compartmentalize and be there as well. Of course, it isn't, my nature is to wander off, but we can always bring it back to what we want to focus. So that being said, like, what is a problem most of us we face is, like, we get lost in our own thoughts, right? The thoughts comes, thought goes, but then sometimes we don't even know where we are. Right? We are completely get immersed into the thought realm, and we don't even know, like, we kind of get lost. So that's where they say this as a, like, the street light effect, right? So the street light effect is, like, again, the small story they say is, once there is a drunken man was searching something below the street light, and the police officer who crosses that path, and then he sees this drunken guy searching for something, and the police officer decides to help. So the police officer goes and asks this guy, uh, what are you doing here? He says, I lost something and I'm searching. So the police officer says, okay, what have you lost? I lost my key. Okay, so I'll help you find your key. So they both, like, they start searching for some more time. And of course, like, the police officer, after say 10 minutes or so, he gets fed up and he says, what, I could not find it. And then he asked the, just give me 1 minute, there's a notification. Okay. So he asked the drunken guy, like, are you sure you lost your key here? For that, the drunken man, he says that, no, I haven't lost it here. I lost it in the park. Huh? Then why are you searching here? And then he says, because the light is only here. In the park, it is completely dark. So I'm searching under the light. So this story, it is like, to illustrate the point that sometimes we get lost in our thought and we search for answers in a wrong place, right? So we search in everywhere because we are completely lost and we want to find some answer. We keep searching and we wouldn't be able to find the answer because that is not the place where we lost. So that is one place where we need to be completely aware of and be mindful about what we are searching and why we are searching, and objectively be present. So that being said, we can move on to the next part of the today's. you're talking about now. So when you're talking about present, and obviously I'm a fan of Eckhart Tolle for the Power of Now book or The New Earth and all these books, and I love him for his work when he talks about being present, because the being present is a place where he also talks about awareness, your stillness, inner peace, and everything stays, like you're completely living each moment as it is, right? You're not like bothered by anything around you. It comes from the living in the present moment. So how do we see that present moment? So to give you an illustration, so I was just speaking to someone, then I was just talking about the last few dates, when dates when I completed my program or I started this program and etc. It is kind of a fancy dates, right? So the 81 days Tao teaching, I finished on 10-10-2020. And obviously to complete on end it on 2010-10-2020, I had to plan it much ahead, 81 days before or much before that, to say that okay, so if I start on so and so date, I can finish it on so and so date. So that's exactly is what happened. So I got hooked to the 10-10-2020, and now this program we started on 11-11-2020 and etc. So there are the different philosophies of how it is. But then there is one thing which you must have seen, during those time, people generally, you must have come across the post, right? 10-10-20-20. What a unique number it is. It is comes once in 100 years, 1,000 years, and etc. This will never come. I'm sure you must have come across some post like this, right? So people post 10-10-20-20, right? Yes, I'm acknowledging, I'm sure that that date is not going to happen ever in the whole history if we keep the chronological order of the dates and etc. However, what we forget is every single date, every single date. It can be today, today is what, 27? Yeah. So 27-11-2020 is never going to come again as well. It is also as unique as 10-10-2020 or 11-11-2020. It is just that those numbers are fancier, right? So why am I saying this? It is as simple as that. A mind always captures the good part, the good emotion, good state of being, like the fancy dates, like 11-11-2020. It feels, oh wow, what a good date it is, what a wonderful day today is. But the other moment, which is like today, 27-11-2020, it is not a bad day either. It's a date is unique as well. It is just that we don't acknowledge it, we don't see any pattern, so that we feel that that is not unique, right? I hope you can understand what I'm just trying to lead this conversation to. So likewise, being present at this moment, when I'm talking to you at this moment, it is as unique as possible from any of the moment that from the time that we are born till this moment, right? So there is no difference at all. This moment, this point present, it is as unique as it can ever be, right? Irrespective of what is life is all about, this moment, it is this, right? This moment is not going to repeat itself. And just that we crave for moments like this, but this moment, it is unique by itself. So that's where I must have shared a story about the stream of river, right? So during Vipassana, the course we're talking about. So when I was doing this, the discourse part of it, and there is a saying. So every single moment is unique. It is like a stream of water, the river that is flowing. So wherever you touch it, your hand is constant, but then the water you touched, you may call it as, oh, it is all water. That is glorifying and saying that every moment is the same. Or the water that you touched, you're never going to touch it again. It is already past. It is not going to be the same moment. It is each moment comes and goes, right? Likewise, the past and the future, it is also a construct of the unique moments what we are talking about. Just that for the past, it comes from the memory, right? So our memory goes on and picks that. It just experiences the memory at this moment. When you go back and trying to recollect something, you're experiencing the memory, but you're experiencing it now. It is not then, it is now. Likewise, whenever whatever you want to achieve in the future, your mind wander off to the future, but then it also feels anxious, irritated, stressed, and all those things because you're waiting for the moment to happen. But whenever you're experiencing whatever you want, still you're experiencing at that moment, which is now, right? So that is something I love by when I'm talking about Eckhart Tolle. He goes deeper in terms of now. So that's why he says all the future, the past, and even the present, it is a kind of a mental construct. What is truly it is, you can be in this moment. And also, like, it is very funnily, like, so the present moment, what you're talking about, they say that, the present is actually as a present. It is somebody is giving you something. So the present, that this moment, you don't have an option, though we can call it as a present. Like, if someone walks to your house and then presents you something, you have an option either to return it or, like, to keep it for with you forever. However, with the present, this moment, what we are talking about at this now, you cannot return it. It will be with you as long as you're alive. Every moment is going to present you and give it to you every single moment. That is when I say moment, it can be seconds or a minute, however small you want to go or a big. But the point is, you cannot get it back. You cannot return it as well. You cannot reject it. And the whole struggle of human beings, I believe it comes from a place of we don't want to accept it. And then the same time, we want to reject. The problem is you cannot actually reject a present moment, right? So you can just say it. That is where the struggle comes in. But the moment you start appreciating the present moment as it is, that's all it is, right? So you don't have to struggle. You don't have to accept everything and take it personally, because you also know that the moment changes, you cannot hold on to it. It will pass. It will change. So that is something to about, like, being present. And of course, being present doesn't mean that you get out of your thinking mind. When I say thinking mind, thinking is an essential part of our life, right? So if you're planning to, you're doing some artwork, or you're, like, just doing some business plan, you're creating some document for with your office, or preparing some content or anything, it is very essential. Just that, if you can be present, or we can be present completely, is what we are talking about by being present. So that way we don't struggle ourselves, we accept the moment as it is. So with that said, like, we can look into few practices, and how we can, what do you say, be present, like, how we can remind ourselves to be present and take a full responsibility, and be, like, not disturbed, be just be an observer and be aware. So to do that, let's this morning, like, when I was thinking about it, there is a uh, it's not a term, but it's kind of a practice that came to me, and then I thought it would be useful. Let me share that with you. So I thought it is like anchor and wander, right? It is like anchor and wander. What I mean by anchor and wander is, sometimes what happens is, we lot of meditation practices, visualization, and etc., it is so restrictive in nature that it is made to take you through the journey of focusing something. Like, for an example, we have done a lot of visualization exercise in the past, or even like, the last 2 days we were repeating certain words, like, may I be happy, and etc. That is kind of a mantra that is we are focusing on. Or sometimes we focus on our breath or some light, and etc. Though all these practices has its own place, but for a mindfulness, it is also important that it is not too restrictive focus, but then, like, you allow yourself to wander off as well. So that way, where both the things, like, there is an anchor, which I will talk about what are the anchors that we can keep to ourselves. That's an anchor. And there is the thoughts comes, thought goes. Allow it to take you away, and then bring your attention back to the, like, the anchor. So that's what I was talking about, anchor and wander. So when you're talking about anchor and wander, it is to give you an example or idea of what I mean is, so it is an example of how they tame a horse or a stallion, like, stallion. So how do they do that? it is primarily the wild hearts. It is so wild that it won't be like in the grass, and it will not be like you can put it inside the fence and then keep it there, right? So the wild hearts, being wild, it loves to spend its energy, wants to be free flowing, you want to run everywhere. It is just like our mind. The mind loves to wander off from one place to the other, irrespective of whatever we want to do. It loves to wander off. So what they do is like when they bring the wild horse, they'll tie it to a pole in the within the like the long range of the farm, and then they allow the horse to run, right? So once the horse feels that okay, this still feels that it is free, so it runs as much as it can. But just what one clause is, the rope is so long enough, wherever it runs, it is actually circling around in the same form. And slowly the horse gets tired, and then it finds its own place. So what they also do is slowly they reduce the shorten the rope, like they shorten the length of the rope. So eventually the horse will come inside the fence, right? So it is not the first step is to put the horse within the fence, which is not possible, because it loves to run all the time freely. And over a period of time, they bring it inside the fence by taming it in a very gentle way, by allowing it to wander first. If it makes sense to you, the horse wanders, so it goes on and on and on. You slowly shorten the rope and bring it back to a place. And that's exactly is what we are going to do today. So first we are talking about different things about what are the anchors that we can create. So the first level of anchor, what I believe, is our own breath. Every meditation practice, they talk about breath. A breath is one constant thing that goes in and out of us. And we can always bring our attention back to the breath. So that way, the moment we observe the breath, we are at the moment, at this present moment. So the first thing, the anchor can be our breath. And the second place is we can focus on our inner body, the automated self, like in autonomous things. When I say autonomous, even our breath is autonomous in a way. And the other thing is be our heart beating, right? So the heartbeat, it's its own way, right? All the inner work, it can be your gut or all those major organs, or even your muscles and etc. You can gently focus your attention towards that and be appreciative of what is happening inwards. If not breath, you can focus on something which is inwards. They can be like a heartbeat or sensation or the muscle, not sensation. Sensation itself is one thing. So primarily inward look. And then we can talk about sensations. So when you're talking about the senses and sensation, it can be how at this moment we can be completely aware. For an example, I can touch my say my skin, and then I can feel that skin completely, right? So I can hold something and then I can feel the thing. So that way the sensation becomes so profound place to focus our attention to. It is not about a place where we can get away with, but the sensation can be a place of focus. So that is to do with sensation, you're touching, holding, feeling something. So that is a way we can focus as well. That can be anchor, where while keep doing that, we can wander off and come back. And the few things is like mantra. So mantra is obviously most of the religion also talk about some mantra or the other ones to talk about how we can focus on it, right? It can be anything, the chanting can be anything that we can do, but then that also anchors us with one place, which is mantra. So when you're talking about mantra, it not requires that we have to sit at one place and do it. But then the mental chanting of our that self, we can wander and chant. It can be like saying simple om, or it can be anything, right? So that can help us to bring our attention back. And the other thing is observe for silence. So when you're talking about a silences, wherever we are, of course, there are sounds, noises, and etc. around us, but then we can gently bring our attention back to the silence, which is underneath everything, right? It is as simple as that. We have discussed in the past is. So as we are experiencing life, it is one simple space of silence where all the sounds happens. Just like we are as a true being, the thoughtless being, aware being, and all the thoughts, emotion, feeling that happens on top of it. It is like a plain paper or a canvas we are, and then everything is a content that is written on top of it. Our thoughts, emotion, feeling, memory, and etc. are the content of it. So that being said, what the other things like you can talk about is, yes, whenever you're working and then doing something, we can be mindful about whatever the activity that you're doing. For that, one of my friend used to say, whenever he trucks, right, so whenever he do the trucking camp in some place, he says that is a very profound meditative state he ever goes to. And what he means by that is, every single step that he takes, he feels connected to that one single step at a time, right? So every single step. So mindfully, he's conscious of every single step. That way, he's highly in a place of aware place. So that's what he relates us, like, being completely aware and mindful. So these are the things of the different ways of it. And of course, like we talked about, the moment you question what will be your next thought is going to be, if you question, if you ask, you can check yourself, what is your next thought going to be? If you have become little curious, you will also feel the silence, because mind cannot construct what is the next thought going to be, right? Obviously it can throw something back, but it cannot predict of where it will go. So all these things are some of the practices which I will share it over the WhatsApp, like, what are the other ways that we can anchor ourselves. And in this practice today, probably we will go through all these things for, say, a few seconds or a minute, maybe, like, go little off, try to see how we can focus on our breath, and also allow to check for any thoughts. If thought comes, it is also fine. Just wander off a bit and bring your attention back to the breath. So that way you will know what it is to let go and get it back, right? So it is not a too much focus. It's slightly you're flexible to taming your own mind. So if that all makes sense, we'll go into a practice today. Quickly, we will have another. Kushal, you have anything to share?
Yeah, Karthik.
Yeah, please.
I mean, so you're saying the like how important it is to be in present, right?
Yes.
So like I'm just like if it, I'll tell you my own experience, Karthik.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say I'm working on a very important thing.
True.
Okay, I know that if I do this, this is what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's very critical, and I maybe I have another 2-3 hours to submit or to
Mm-hmm.
present it to the client.
Mm-hmm.
So and in meanwhile, you know the how critical it is, but still alt tab, you open YouTube, and then maybe open the 5 minutes or 2 minutes of
Mm-hmm.
let's say, I mean, I like watching F1 videos.
Yeah.
So open some last Grand Prix videos and see how
Mm-hmm.
what happened, and
Mm-hmm.
and then after that maybe see another the YouTube recommendation engine how it is, and you would see another video,
Mm-hmm.
and then you will realize that, oh shit, you're not actually maybe it's not, it's all this is because you're not in that moment, right? So I mean, it's just that you're deviating your focus, and then later on you regret it.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know how is that related, like Karthik, but what I'm trying to say is that it's just that sometimes you have to be in that moment, but still you're not able to do, even though you know the significance of that of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So and what can we do at this time? Yeah.
Okay. So how I understand and how I see is, like, obviously there are people, we are all made differently. When I say differently, so I can relate to what you said, because I am that person. Like, I am the person is wait for the 11th hour kind of a person, right? So there is a
Yeah.
deadline, there is something that you have to do, but then you will, that, like, maybe a month in advance as well. However,
Yeah.
You wait for the neck of the moment, and then you still manage to get it done. It is not
Yeah.
that you can escape it. I'm sure that you also get it done, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
Right. So there is a some level of, like, the adrenaline rush that we'll get doing it in the last minute. And that, when you're focused, I'm sure at that moment when you're doing it, your mind
Mhm.
is not wandering when you are actually doing it, right?
Yeah.
So it is too focused even that moment. Like, maybe it is, say, maybe if you have start working on it for say 1 month ago, maybe you can think and like, plan it in a very effective way. You can do a lot of things and slowly, gradually you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you put yourself in a spotlight that within next 1 hour I have to do, your mind becomes ultra focused at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Does it happen to you, or you still wander off? That I want to check with you.
I mean, I think it's because the time, like, let's say if there is 1 week time,
Hmm.
maybe I'll be little more, be like, okay, still I have time.
Hmm.
But when it's like 1 hour or 2 hour, then I would be like, okay, let me just finish this now.
Exactly. So at that moment when you're doing that work, you're present. You're completely present with the work in at hand. Like, you're doing that, right? So your mind is not wandering that moment. However, your mind is also a tricky place. See, if I just ask you, if you have everything in life, whether you will sit and do the work or your business, you go to run a company, or will you take a vacation in some place, a fancy place, and chill out?
Obviously, chill out.
Right? So that is a kind of a way that our mind also is programmed, that it wants to chill out time and again. Go to YouTube, watch it. There is nothing wrong, right? Absolutely, there is nothing wrong in watching a YouTube video or a TV. It is just that we all want us. We don't want a primarily a tension in our mind, right? It is like a rubber band. You stretch it, it knows that there's a tension. So what it
Mm,
wants is, leave it easy. It just want to be there. Nice. Okay. I can enjoy, feel good, everything. So I wouldn't say that you watching a YouTube is bad. Go back and focus on work. No. Hmm? It is just that if you realize that, okay, any given point in time, it is you who's going to complete the work. And even when you're watching that same YouTube video, can you be aware of you're watching that? Even if you're watching, if you're just wandering, your mind is wandering about, oh my God, my project, I'm not doing that, but I'm still here. Hmm?
mm, yeah,
Right? So that is a problem. See, the problem is, it's not where you are and what you're doing. The problem is, you are sitting in front of your laptop and computer and then watching the YouTube video, and your mind is somewhere else.
correct.
Right? So that is the challenge we are talking about. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? It is nothing to do with what
No,
you're
yes,
doing.
sometimes that happens. Like you will be watching the video and you will be still regretting. Like, oh shit, that happened.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a primary thing, Kushal. Like, there is nothing to judge here. Okay. I mean, primarily, all our activities are for a reason. That is why I always try to acknowledge any emotion, any feeling, everything, acknowledge it. It is just that mindfully acknowledge and be present. Even if you're feeling sad, like, anxious, stressed, it is okay to feel stressed and, like, feel anxious. It's just that the moment you try to get out of it and etc., that is where the whole drama starts.
Correct.
So, so here, what we are talking about is just awarenesses. Even if you sit with the pain or anything, like, if you're watching, indulging, please do. So no judgment, no classification. Why I am not focusing? Nothing like that sort.
Got it.
Right? So maybe it may be counterintuitive to what you are expecting, but then,
Yeah, yeah. Got it.
right? So the mind is tricky thing. It
Yeah.
always want to focus. So let's try to focus on few things and see where we are. See, as I said, there is no right or wrong here. All we are trying to do is just to try to be aware of the state, instead of, like, the being present is the only place we can ever be, like now. But however, when the thought comes, it can take us to the future, take us to the past, and then make us suffer from all the time. And as I said before as well, if you ask your own self, is there anything wrong in this moment, in this very second? There may not be, right? So even I have asked this question for a very long time, like, especially when I'll be going through a pain, right? I'll be having some kind of I have a gout attack. Uh, Sometimes I get a severe pain in my leg. Like, I cannot even lift my foot. Like, it is that severe a pain. And all I would be asking is, see, this philosophy people talk about like what is wrong at this moment. I am feeling this pain, right? So how can be there is nothing wrong in this moment? I used to ask myself to that point, right? To the point that if nothing wrong in this moment, the pain is real, right? It is I am experiencing. I cannot take one step. What is it? So there, the one slightest difference is me feeling the pain and the me observing the pain are two different parts, right? So the one who's still like thinking I'm not in the pain, and that's what it allows me to think that people said this. The other one who's questioning it, it is independent of the pain. Are you understanding it? So there is a pain part of it which I'm going through, and there is an observer who's questioning it. Where does people say that the nothing wrong in this moment? Something constructing and then something that is building on back of my head. So that is another part of it. There also you can split. So that part doesn't know. The thinking part doesn't know this pain, the experiencing thing. So yeah, there is a little more like abstract in a way to like express it to you. But the point is, the moment we are just going to all these steps, we are trying to be mindful of it, just trying to observe as it is, allow all the experience, emotion, thoughts to come and go as it is. Just bring the attention back to the few of the anchors that what we discussed. It can be breath or mantra or anything. It can be as you wish. So let's quickly end this session now that we are almost towards the end of it. So let's do a small practice. This practice, like as usual, we will acknowledge all those body, sensation, thoughts, and mind, and then we will go back to a place of the breath, the focus, and what we're focusing on the work, or it can be feeling the inner body. Just take few minutes to just allow us to feel this, to give a glance of it or a glimpse of it, and then we can end the session today. So if it's okay, let's get started. Yes, make yourself feel comfortable wherever you are. As you're feeling comfortable, take few deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you're breathing deeply, just gently close your eyes and just scan your body for any kind of a tension or a discomfort. If you find any tension or a discomfort, gently relax. Look for any sensation in your body. Acknowledge the sensation as it is. As you acknowledged all your sensation, now it's time to look at your own innermost state. What is it your emotion is like at this moment? Take a mental snapshot of it. And now it's time to look at your thoughts. Just observe the thought and allow the thoughts to the way they are. As you know, the thought comes, thought goes. It's just like a ripple in the water, it automatically settles down. Just allow it to be there. It is okay. As you acknowledged your body, your sensation, your emotion, and your thoughts, it's time to gently look at the place of inner stillness, the place which is beyond your body, which is beyond your sensation, which is beyond your emotions and feelings, and it is a place which is beyond your thoughts. Gently try to bring your attention to the inner stillness. As you're aware of this place of inner stillness within you, it's time to check few anchors within us and allow our mind to wander off as well. And gently getting it wander and then bringing attention back. To start with, allow and anchor yourself to your breath. Notice your natural rhythm of your breathing. Let it be completely natural as it wants. And notice the quality of your breath. Is it shallow or deep? Just notice, gently notice your breath. And as you're anchored to the breathing, it's also time to just focus on the breathing and allow if there is any thought that comes to you. Allow your mind to wander. That's okay. Just check, gently check what is the thought that's coming to you. But keeping the focus and anchor it with your breath. Allow your mind to wander. As you became aware of your mind wandering, if it wandered off, then gently bring your attention back to the breath. Just focus on the breath, how deep, the quality, the frequency, and etc. So now you know how to let go of your focused mind and allow your mind to wander. At the same time, you have an awareness to bring it back to your own self. At this moment, let's move on to the sensation in your body. Scan your body for any kind of a sensation that you may feel now. It can be your foot which is touching the ground, or it can be like the place where you're sitting, or it can be like where you're holding or carry taking or holding something, or it can even be your clothes which is touching your body at this moment. Just focus on one single sensation that you want to choose. As you identified the sensation that you're feeling it right now, now it's also time to focus and understand the type of sensation that you're feeling and just observe the qualities of the sensation. Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it kind of tickling? Or whatever it is, just feel the sensation as it is. As you're feeling the sensation, just anchor your thought, anchor your mind to this awareness of the sensation. As you anchor your awareness to the sensation, it's fine to let go of your mind and then allow it to wander if it wants to. If your awareness, it is noticed that your mind is just wandered off, bring your attention back to the sensation that you're aware of, that you're anchored with. Feel the sensation once again. So now you know that how what it feels and how it feels to anchor our own self to the sensation that we feel time to time. So as we understand about the sensation, now it's time to notice the external sound that you may hear at this moment. Look for the sound and the noises around you. As you're hearing or listening to all the sounds and the noise, you're also aware that there is a stillness or there is a silence which exists even at this very moment around you. Gently focus and bring your attention and awareness to that silence which exists around you at this moment. As you know, the sound exists within the place of silence. So there is a silence all the time which exists, and on top of it, any sound that comes and goes. Bring your awareness to the place of silence. From this place of silence and stillness, just completely be aware of this place for a moment. As you focused on the style, silence, and stillness, allow your mind to wander off if it wants to. As your is fixed to the silence and stillness, if you notice that your mind is wandered off, Then gently bring the attention back to the place of silence. Feel the silence and be in the stillness. As you're experiencing the silence and stillness, it's time to bring back the attention back to our body. Gently scan your body for any kind of a sensation, discomfort, or a tension. Take a mental note of your inner state, your inner emotion, and the feeling, what you're feeling at this moment. At this time, it's time to let go of any focus, any concentration, any kind of awareness, and just allow your mind to as it is. Just whatever it wants to do, allow it to do. Just allow it. Make it completely free. When you feel comfortable and when you're ready, you may open your eyes. Gently bring your attention to the environment, and when you're ready, you may open your eyes and come back to the session. All right, I hope everyone is back to the session. Thank you so much. It's been a long duration today. I'm sorry about that. Yes. So with that, with this practice, we come to an end of today. And what I will do next is probably I will share all these anchoring points that you can take it in your life, which you can apply time to time. Just that one request is all these practices make sense if it's not for a brief time, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, but then you take one thing what you like. It can be your breath, your sensation, the activity you're doing. Just try to be aware of it time and time again and make that as your anchoring place, the anchoring place which is still, which you are always there aware of. Then allow your mind to wander off. It is okay, it is completely okay wherever it want to think of past, future, or anything. But just that your awareness is to that one thing that you want or you chose to, like it can be a breath, sensation, the silence, the work, internal, the functioning of inside, or a mantra. It can be anything, it doesn't matter. All you're doing is just focus on that and allow your mind to wander off. I'm sure after it's wandering and running out of all the thoughts, it comes back to you and makes you feel aware. So, with that thought, let's end today's session. And you may stay back and ask questions if you have any, and we can take it forward as well. I'm open to the questions. And thank you so much once again.